Hey everybody. Whew, it's been a crazy few days. So I kind of wanted to start first of all with thank yous. Oh my goodness. I have so many people to thank that I literally cannot even remember everybody's names, but I wanted to go ahead and put some of these out here for sure. First of all, I want to thank Betty. She is the niece of the woman who lived in that home. She's had the courage to reach out for help. She has been trying to get these animals help for months, since August. And she was the one that kind of started this all. These animals wouldn't be safe without her having the courage to speak out. So thank you to Betty. Second, thank you to Tommy Watts. She was also the other main person besides myself that went into the house. She was hands-on. She brought out the dead animals. I found all the live ones. She was good at spotting the dead ones. I didn't bring out all the live ones, but everyone that I brought out was alive. She brought out live ones also. But when she got there before I did, and when I pulled up, she was coming out with a dead animal in her hands, and so I didn't even have a chance to stop. I just put gloves on and went inside. So so thank you to her. She didn't have to be there, and she was. She did also help transport all the things, and she also printed off surrender forms for me so that we could get these dogs the help they needed. Huge thank you to Little Woods Animal Hospital, Timber Trails Animal Hospital. We triaged at Timber Trails. Those two clinics are owned by the same people. So Lacey and Whitbell, thank you. I don't know that that they fully understood what they were agreeing to whenever I said, "Can I please use your clinic?" But they were really good sports, and we could not have done that without them. We don't have a building yet. We're working on a building. We use my house and foster homes. That's it. That's all we have. So to medically triage that many animals, we had to have a clinic. So we are so thankful to Timber Trails and the one tech that was working at that time was Alex. Alex is now fostering Annie. So Alex deserves all the world, all the praise. When I got there, I had to stay on scene until every animal left. And when I got there, Alex had it under control. She had dogs numbered. She was working hard, and she was supposed to just be up there cleaning. And it turned into her being there for 9 hours triaging. So thank you, Alex, and taking a dog home. Lauren is one of the techs from Littlewood. She offered help with the cats, and I just said, yes, please come up there. And she came up there and ended up staying for like 6 hours. So those two vet techs, I could not have done that without them. Dr. Eads stopped by. She did a quick swing through with baby on hip and everything, stopped by, checked on Scrappy. We weren't sure if he was breathing. He was barely breathing at that time. She ordered, sub-Q fluids and antibiotics and all that thing, and he perked up pretty quick after that. So that, we're just so thankful. People on the scene that showed up to the house, Katie Jackson, my secretary, her daughter Sarah, Sonia, her daughter Shay, who has Scrappy now. Christina did all of my surrender forms. Every animal had to have an individual surrender form. Janet, who showed up to help transport. Tony, who wrangled pigs and transported multiple times. Donna, who transported pigs. Connie, who drove the truck to transport pigs. I know I'm forgetting people. That situation was horrific. I'm going to kind of go through what happened and how it came about, but I want to say, and I was, that changed me for sure. But what I will say is the thing that I'm left with, other than the horror of all that, is how much good there is too. There are people that care. There's people in our community that care. and they showed up, and that's what matters. So, try not to get emotional. We couldn't do it without you guys. I'm one person. I work full time. This isn't my job. I just care. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, so here's how this all went down, and then I'll see if I can answer some questions. But on Friday night, I got images and a walkthrough video. They were images that came from Betty, the niece of the individual that lived there. She sent them to, or she sent, I don't even remember who I got them. I know who I got them from. I'm not sure if I should say their name or not, but I don't know who got them to that person. But anyway, I saw them and I asked what information they had. They gave me the name of a landlord. I called the landlord. Some man in Texas, bless his heart. Some crazy ladies calling asking about dogs. And then he gave me the number to Betty. So, then Betty let me know that she'd been having trouble getting help. She'd been asking for help. She was really concerned. She knew there was already 4 dead dogs, through some text messages that I now have, pictures of that show that, Trey, the man who was arrested, knew for sure that there were 4 dead dogs in there. Unfortunately, those 4 dead dogs are not the names that he gave us for the 4 dead dogs that we carried out. So we believe those are 4 additional dead dogs. But regardless, when I called her, she was pretty skeptical that we could get anything done because she'd been trying so hard. And I told her, I said, look, I can't not fix this. This is not okay. And so I said, if I have your permission, I'm going to work on this, and I need the address, I need all the things. And so, I was able to get, I know it's not any real secret that, we've worked a lot with Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. I called them just to get some advice on kind of how to handle this. We've had issues, apparently they'd had issues getting help. There's always an issue in Arkansas with animal control has this jurisdiction and these powers, and the sheriff's office has these powers in this jurisdiction, and it's difficult sometimes to know who's in charge in these situations, and that's a problem, and that delays help to these animals. It is a big problem. And then of course, it being county, there's no city shelter to cover this. So, if there are animals being abused that do not live in the city that is covered by a shelter, it's nearly impossible to get people to help. To get government organizations to be able to say, yes, I'm responsible for this. Yes, I should be doing this. Yes, I should be helping this animal. Though it seems like it always gets punted to another organization, or department. Originally, we had seen emails where they had a subject line of animal cruelty related to this case on March 29th. So even that upset me that, they knew about it on March 29th and hadn't done anything. And now today, we got a police report showing that they actually knew about this in August. So how many animals have died since August? How many animals are buried in that yard, or thrown away in trash bags, or just melted into the floor under all that debris since August? Anyone who knew about this case that did not act in August, I want you to ask yourself that. Because it's not okay. People that will do this stuff to animals will do it to children. Will do it to disabled people. Will do it to anyone who doesn't have a voice. So animal cruelty matters because animal cruelty is a segue to just general cruelty and crime. So it matters. Okay, so back to the scene. So thankfully, with some assistance from Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, I was able to get in touch with the right people at Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. And as soon as they did get in touch with me, they were very helpful. They did get to work as soon as they knew. As soon as they got in contact with me, I think we got the right officers that that understood the severity of this. I was in contact that evening, on Friday evening, until about 1 a.m. with officers, because initially they were trying to get permission from Trey. They went to his workplace and tried to get permission, to enter the property to check on the animals. He refused. He said they were fine. Okay. So then they went to the hospital where the other individual is. Initially, I was told she was incapacitated. So that was kind of like, at that time, like she'd had some medical issues. I don't want to discuss the medical issues, but I was just told that she wasn't able to make those decisions. However, I have since seen text messages from her. She is lucid. She knows what's going on. She is in the hospital, but she knows what's going on. They went to the hospital. She refused to give them consent to search. So once I heard that nobody was giving consent to search and I was not going to be able to get those animals Friday night, I got a few hours of sleep and got up Saturday morning ready. They were able to get a search warrant Saturday morning. The sheriff's office was great in that they knew, here's another issue with helping animals, is that if animals are seized, like if animal control goes in and sees the severity of it and seizes the animals, those animals are evidence. So they then have to be kept. They can't be neutered. They can't be adopted out. They just have to be warehoused, basically, which would have been better than what they had. Okay, so if that had been our only option, we would have taken it, because what they had was not sustainable. But the sheriff said, look, I want you to be able to help these animals, and I appreciate this. He said, so what I'd like to do is see if we can get them surrendered. Let's get them surrendered. And so we were able to, thankfully, get every animal has a surrender form. So every animal that came out, the individual who was arrested told us its name, including the dead ones, told us their name, and signed off for ownership to us. And I don't typically rescue cats or pigs or a rooster, but I said I'm taking every animal that's alive in this place and we'll figure it out. Hi Christopher, I see my son watching. Anyway, so we got all the animals surrendered. So that was kind of the plan ahead of time. We need to get them surrendered. So because that way, now the rescue owns them. That way I can give them the care they need. I can do the things that need to be done. You can't operate on an animal that you don't own. You can't, there's a lot of, I can't rehome or find a placement for an animal you don't own. So we do own those animals now. Thank goodness. So we can give them the care that they need. And I'm glad that they didn't have to be seized, because if they had to been seized, we couldn't have done anything, for them that they need. And these animals need extensive medical care. So I pull up, I come up and Tommy's got dead animals she's carrying out. I go in. The first thing is there's this tarp covering the porch that was in your way the whole time, and just random cords everywhere. It was a hoarding house. But you did not have to get very close to smell it. The stench, the burning, I was coughing. Decay, urine, feces. The first step, I just sunk because the floor was feces. It's like mud. It felt like you were walking in mud, but that's not what it was. I hope it was all feces. I have a feeling a lot of it was decay. And I'm sure there's more dead animals in there. The sounds, scratching, barking, squealing, pleading. And it was like, who do I say first? Who do I grab first? And then there was one dog outside who was a little bit more territorial. It was one that was allowed to run around, and so he was able to eat things. I don't know what he was eating, but he could eat things. And so we kind of had to, at first, he wouldn't let us catch him. First, we had to kind of go around him. And then it got to the point where we had larger dogs that we couldn't carry over him. So we did have to get him secured. It took 3 of us to get him out of the way so that we could walk the larger dogs past. But yeah, who do you save first, and who do you pull out first? And then we just were pulling crates as fast as we could. I didn't have bottoms for all my crates. A lot of my crates, the bottoms are, you lose the bottoms, they get broken or they get chewed up or whatever. And so I had several crates that didn't have bottoms, but I just opened them anyway and put them on the grass. And those dogs were so thankful when you'd come out. Like, you could just see them just like take a deep breath, because they've been in there forever breathing that air. And then I would go get more dogs and then I would come back out, and then you just see them all lined up. And so people started showing up, and I'd say, can you please take that one, that one, that one, that one? And they were just taking them to timber trails. As soon as somebody would come with a truck, they'd load up another load, and then off they'd go, and then they'd bring back the empty crates, and we'd start over again. And it just felt like it went fast, but it also took forever, if you know what I mean. There were a few moments that really, like, just, I'm having trouble even describing. Like, it is, because it shouldn't, like, that shouldn't happen. Like, that shouldn't exist. So it's hard to even describe. Opening that door, opening the door where Annie was, we could hear lots of dogs back there, and we kind of saved it for last because it was back in the back. So we kind of moved all the ones out that were out in the living area. And I think there were more rats and things out there that they could get to. So the ones that were out in the living room, I mean, they were all in horrible shape, but like the ones in that back bedroom where Annie was, the door was shut, and I don't think it had been opened in a long, long time. And so when I opened that door, I went to just barely crack it just to get an idea of what was in there, what we were dealing with. And the dogs were so frantic on the other side of that door that their little paws were they just came out immediately and busted. Like, they were just frantic. I couldn't shut the door back. It was like opening this. And that's when I posted that video that I said, like, I have no words, because I had no word. Like, I yelled for help and nobody could hear me, because that's the other thing is that animal control said that they were not allowed to come in the house. So and that may be true, but think of this, okay? I work with children. That's what I do. I work at an elementary school. I work with children. My volunteer, Tommy, that was in there, I call her my volunteer. She just kind of became my volunteer. She does her own thing. She does amazing things. She traps dogs a lot. We've collaborated some, and she helped me out on this. She became our volunteer that day, but really she's her own force to be reckoned with. She's amazing. But, she doesn't have training in this either. So, I mean, we handle animals, but like nobody is prepared for that. You can't prepare for that because it shouldn't exist. So imagine this. Okay, there we are. Sorry. Animal control officers. I'm not saying anything about the ones that were there. I'm just talking about the system in general. They're standing there, opening the gate for us as we go in and out. Like I said, they were very cordial, but why were we the ones that had to go in? Like, we weren't trained for that. we probably need some counseling after that. We are just two women who care, and we were the ones that went in. Now, I'm glad we did, and I would do it again. But that's the problem. Why can animal control not help, I guess, is an issue. We need to fix that. So that one stuck out to me when I opened that door and I saw Annie, and I looked over and saw dead ones in the crates, and I saw a bed. That's where one of them, the humans, slept. That door had not been opened in a long time. The other moment was going in the back where the rooster was at. The dog had its head through the crate. The crate, had its head stuck and just sitting there like, help. And then the dog behind the fridge. She had eaten through, there was a bathroom, and then there was like a storage closet behind the bathroom that also had a door that came out in the kitchen. I don't know, but he had said there was a dog in the bathroom, and I opened the bathroom and there was no dog in the bathroom, but there was a hole eaten through the door. And I could see trash piled up. And then I could hear the dog, but I couldn't figure out how to get to it. And then we realized there was a door behind the fridge, so we had to push the fridge open and crack that door. And I mean, she was eye level with me because she was on top of trash. And I could only crack the door about that, like wide enough for her to get through. I had to turn the phone off so that I could like coax her out and get her out. But we didn't get to like inspect that. So what's still in there? I mean, there could be multiple dead animals in there too. So, and that was number 17 is what we had her down as. And she's so sweet. So sweet. She has a breeder tattoo on her, which is concerning. So anyway, so that's kind of how that all went. I don't even know if that was coherent or tells the whole story, and I'm sure it doesn't, but, got the animals triaged. We were really, really worried about Scrappy, Annie, Matilda, and then Joy is the other one, the one that has the little hurt paw, and she is a complete skeleton, just very much like Annie. Those are the 4 that are in the worst, like, body condition. Scrappy, I really thought multiple times when I looked over and Shay was holding him during triage, I was running around multiple times. I asked her, is he still breathing? Because he looked, I mean, his tongue was flopping out and he was like, he did not look good. And, I just really, and when Shay said she wanted to take him home, I said, are you prepared to be alone if he passes away? And she said, no, but I'd rather him be with me and be loved than, not. So, when I got to Timber Trails, there were people bathing dogs, like I said, clipping nails, doing all the things. It was amazing. People showed up with pizza. Thank you. And then Foster showed up. People showed up and took these dogs home, which is amazing. Let me tell you, though, we beg for Fosters all the time. We beg for help. Like Flash got shot in the back of the head and his face like exploded. Somebody tried to kill him and I couldn't find a foster for him. Like, I got him healthy. I couldn't find a foster for him. I'm so thankful that, out of this horrendous event that like some good things can come. He has a foster now. He's playing. He's sleeping on beds he's not supposed to. So, he's, so some good things can come out of this, and we've got to find good things to come out of this. Okay, so back to the case. So, originally we knew the person had been in the hospital for a month. We knew that Trey was there. He signed the animals over to us. He was arrested. We got to watch that, which was very satisfying. However, You know, since then we've seen text messages showing that they knew there were dead animals. There's been food delivered. So let's talk about Sherry a little bit. I never knew her name. I didn't know who she was, but I started looking. Apparently she's been going around, for years in this area. Again, there's no county shelter. There's no place for dogs to go or cats to go that people abandon. It's rescues and things like us that are the only ones that will step up if individuals don't. So what she had been doing is going out and saving dogs. Somebody would need help, she'd go get the dog. Let me tell you, people are so thankful when you take a dog from them, because that's a big responsibility that you're taking off their plate. I take that very seriously. I consider that a lot when I take in an animal, because I know that I'm the fallback person. You know, it comes back to me. So what she would do is take these animals. She would get praise. People would thank her. People would send food. People would send donations. People would, I'm assuming probably send her money. I don't know that for sure, but I would just assume as a thank you for taking this off of their plates. And then she would put them into her house. She would put them in crates and she would leave them. And she'd go get another one and another one and another one. So if you were missing an animal in Jacksonville, Cabot, North Pulaski County, that unfortunately could be where it ended up. Even when we were there, they got a Walmart food donation for the animals, but that food didn't go to the animals, clearly. So unfortunately people do get like addicted to rescuing. I hate attention. I hate this. I hate doing this right here. If you look back on our page, I don't ever go in front of the camera. I always want the focus to be on the dogs. I don't want the focus on me, because that's not why I rescue. You know, I rescue to save dogs. I rescue to help dogs. I rescue to get one dog healthy and get in a happy home and then go to the next one. That's why I rescue. I don't rescue for attention or accolades or anything. I don't want that. I really don't. But some people do. And that's what some people are doing that for. So, the ones that do that really do get addicted to the praise they get and the attention that they get for being such a helper, you know. But then nobody follows up. Nobody's following up, wondering what happened to that dog they took. They're just grateful that they took the dog. Now, when this was reported in August, and they said she had, and I believe in the police report, it said that she had about 15 dogs. That should have been a big red flag. Nobody has 15 dogs for their personal well-being. You know, they just don't. Unless they're doing, you know, if you're doing 15 dogs is too many for one person. Okay. It's too many. Unless you have like a staff, or you have a fleet of volunteers like we do. You know, I mean, I currently have 10 at my home. I have 10, and that's a lot. But I work full time, but still, that's a lot. But I have outdoor pens. Everybody has, some outdoor, some indoor. Everybody has what they need. Everybody is clean and fed and all that thing. And I will not take another dog in unless I can accommodate them so that, they get what they need. But that's the sad reality, is that because there's no shelter, because there's nobody's taking responsibility for whose job it is to make sure to check these things out, then we end up with people running around doing stuff like this. And it can happen. And I guarantee you this is not the only place like this. There's more out there. This is just one that somebody had the courage to call out. So, in August, there was a report. This was a known issue. And this was only about a 4-minute drive from the Pulaski County Sheriff's substation. So it's not like it was hard to investigate. You know what I mean? Like it, and again, not trying to throw shade, just saying like, this has got to be like a keynote issue. In this state, we're drowning. We need help. We need laws changed. It needs to be easier. Law enforcement often, I feel like their hands are tied. I've heard that before. They feel like, they have to be very careful of what they do because, and rightly so, you have to obey the laws. So that means we need to fix the laws so that they can go in, that they can check on animals, that they can, do what they need to do to make sure this doesn't happen. Now, I will say there's more investigation happening. There's more things at that house that need to be checked out. That we don't even have all the details on yet, that I don't know that I can fully speak on. There was a pet cemetery there. I think that was for the ones that they loved. But there were countless black trash bags all over, everywhere in the yard. We asked if we could look in the shed. He said, no, I don't know what's in that shed. There were some closets that we just simply couldn't get to. And remember, I found a dog in a closet behind a freezer, alive. There were some closets we couldn't get to. We listened for signs of life, that kind of thing. But, I think about Moochie and how scared he is and how traumatized he is. And I think about if he was in that house, he would not make a sound. He would hide. So I have asked them to please do another sweep, please, because there are, most of those dogs were frantic to get out, but I would not be surprised if some of them hid. So, so that's another thing that's kind of haunting me right now is did we leave anybody behind? There's reports of abuse, reports of that individual screaming, yelling, hitting animals prior. So I have no doubt that many animals were abused in that way. The text messages describing the animals that he knew had died were just kind of nonchalant. These people live among us. This was 9 minutes from my house. So when I heard about it, I was like, this is in my backyard. And there were some children's toys in that house. I really hope that no children ever entered that house. But the fact that there were children's toys in that house really hurts my heart. There's just a lot more investigation. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to see if I have any questions here that I can answer. The short answer is yes. The long answer is we have to vet everybody who applies to foster. The triage fosters, that says I'm having trouble with connection, so I'm going to try to move a little bit. But some people took 3 and 4 dogs. They shouldn't have to keep 3 or 4 dogs, so we're going to try to divvy some of those out. Honestly, we've just been so overwhelmed. It's myself and Katie Jackson that run the page. So if you have messaged, commented, anything like that, there's only 2 of us. So please be patient. We both work full time. We're both volunteers. We don't, get paid to do this. So yes, we need fosters, but please be patient as we divvy it up. We're trying to triage and get the ones that are the sickest, their vet appointments, the ones that, you know, like Annie got seen today, Matilda got seen today, Scrappy got seen today, and some of those. So get those in first, and then we're going to move on to the others. So right now is like getting their initial vet appointments, and then we'll get everybody kind of spread out. If you want to adopt one of these dogs, please fill out an application to be considered so you're on a wait list. They're not ready yet. There was one that we adopted out that was available and ready, and we had a pre-approved adopter, so that one went fast. But other than that, fill out an application, get it in there so we can get you approved. Again, please be patient with us. We're working really, really hard. We're really, really tired. Let's see if there's any other questions. Was anyone arrested? Yes. So Trey, I think it's Trayman Carr, was arrested, 38 felony charges. 3 misdemeanor charges for the farm animals, because they said farm animals are harder to charge felonies on. So that was what those were about. And then 38 was for the dogs and cats. And then we are hoping that the other individual is also charged because she knew. Oh, Nala. I'll have to look and see. Sorry, somebody's asking about Nala. I feel like that was a name that he gave us for one of the dogs. If you will message us like a description of the dog, because we gave them all numbers. It was just too hard to keep up with their names. So if you can message me a description of what Nala looked like, I'll see if she was one of the deceased or one of the live dogs. I'm so sorry. I do remember that name though, but I don't remember which one it was. Unfortunately, there's a lot. Let's talk about, there's Kristen St. Clair. Oh, good. Kristen, thank you. Yeah, she's alive. Okay. Kristen says Nala's alive. Awesome. Kristen, or Christian, sorry. Their cat was Whiskers Leanne St. Clair. He had a first, middle, and last name. They lost their cat. Sherry and Trey knew darn well that that was their cat. And we found their cat with maggots in his eyes in the corner of the cat enclosure, which they had in their living room, covered in urine and feces. And I'm so sorry. We bagged each one of the dead animals individually. We did go back in and locate which one he was in and tagged him separately. And we are going to, we had them pick out an urn, and we're going to give them Whiskers' ashes back so that their daughter can have some closure, because she was 6 years old and she wanted her cat back. The others will be community cremated, so they can have some dignity, because they sure didn't have it when they were alive. Okay, more questions. Let's see. Yes, they had names. They all had names. As we brought these animals out and had them fill out owner surrender forms, he knew every name of every animal. So I don't know how you, I don't know how you do this anyway, but you name the animal, you walk past its dead body as it's decaying on the floor, and you don't care. I can't understand it. Let's see. How can we get the rest of the house searched to check for more animals? So we're doing that. We're doing that because I did express my concerns. They are going to do another search. I think they need to open every single plastic bag that's out in that yard. I know they don't want to, and I know it's gross, but they need to. They need to open every plastic bag, because what if there's body parts in there? There's definitely dead animals in there. What if there's something more horrific? If they can do that, what else is in those bags? They need to be opened, and they need to be photographed and documented. So, yes, we are there. There is going to be another search. There's also some other things I'm not going to I'm not going to divulge right now because it's part of the investigation, but there's some other things in there that they need to document and investigate, and they have told me they're going to go back and do that. Okay, other questions. Did he surrender Ella the pig, or did he conveniently forget? If Ella the pig is the big black one, we did not find it. I think, if I remember correctly, Ella the pig was the big black one. It wasn't there. There was no water. There was no food in the pig enclosure. There was a mattress. First of all, the pig enclosure was zip tied shut with metal zip ties. So it's not like somebody was going in and out of there daily and feeding and watering. There was a large, probably king or queen size mattress in there that they had eaten all of the bedding off of. Like all of anything that was edible, they ate, leaving just the frame. So I think that is what they were eating. And it is our thought process. We don't have proof of this, but it is our thought process that probably as the pigs died, the other ones probably ate them to survive. That is the only thing that makes sense, because there sure wasn't anything else in there to eat. There was no water. I'm thinking these recent storms that we had probably gave them some water, via mud puddles and things to drink. But yeah, I believe the pigs that we got were Wilbur was one, was the male, and then there was a female. I couldn't read the name that was written down, but it wasn't Ella. Pigs probably ate the dog, somebody said. And that, if they did, there's still a lot of bodies out there. Because like I said, those trash bags were full. How did they acquire so many animals? People would post and say they needed help. Nobody would help them, that they needed help. They had a dog, they needed dog help, and they'd go get it. And that's how they got it. There's so many unwanted animals. They went and got them. There's no shelter out here. Sometimes our rescue's full. Rescues are always full. So when people can't find help and they get desperate, they'll give animals to anybody that says, oh, I'll take them and I can help them. And if you looked at her Facebook page, it looks like she's an animal advocate, but she is not. She has stop animal cruelty posts on her page while committing animal cruelty. So know who you're giving these animals to. I know it's an inconvenience sometimes to have an animal that shows up like a stray, but you can handle it for a few days or a week or something. I promise you can. You can figure it out. I do all the time. All the time. You can do it too. How many kennels do you have? Well, it's a good question. Okay, so out at my house, I have 5 outdoor kennels. I've turned my porch into a kennel with like a outside run area where they can go in and out on the the covered porch and the outdoor to have some potty area. And then I have my house. We're building a shelter. Am I okay? No, no, I'm not, but I'm working on it. We are building a shelter, on my property. We need more funds. That shelter's intention is to be used for Pulaski County, or Lonoke County, just rural animals that don't have shelter coverage for the community. That's what I want that to be for. If we'd had that shelter done when this happened, we could have triaged at the shelter. But since we didn't, we were able to use the clinic. If it had been a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when the clinic was open, we couldn't have done it there. It just, by the grace of God, happened on a Saturday when we were able to be able to use the clinic. But other than that, we need our shelter finished. So if you are in construction, if you are a local business person that does roofing, concrete, any of that kind of stuff, fencing, and you want to help, please do. we need help. We need to get this done so that we can help, and we could say yes to a lot more animals when we have that done. So, my son says, "What's for dinner, Mother?" There is pizza in the fridge, baby. Let's see. Let's see. What did that woman do? The woman lived there and was the one that went and collected a lot of the animals, to my understanding. Let's see. Yeah, say her name. I mean, Sherry Martinez. Sherie. Lynn, Lynn Martinez. Her profile picture is like a animal advocacy thing. So that's who that is. Let's see. How many of the animals still need fosters, and how is Scrappy doing? Okay, Scrappy, I just heard, walked outside to potty by himself this afternoon. He needed a little bit of help, or he needed a little bit of prompting, but he did it by himself, which is huge. At first, he wasn't even peeing. He wasn't drinking. That's huge. Shay is doing amazing. Thank you, Shay. Thank you to every foster. Like I said, I have so many thank yous, and I can't even, like, my heart is filled with gratitude. Even though what I just went through is horrific. I mean, I've the businesses that have reached out and offered to do fundraisers for us. Thank you. People that have just checked on me. Thank you. It's been a lot. Scrappy's doing good. I'm sorry. What was the rest of that question? How many of the animals still need fosters? Okay, so I think I kind of answered that earlier, but like, some people during emergency triage took multiple animals, so just to get them situated. So that was like step one. And then step two was the most critical ones needed to get into the vet. Step three is going to be like taking a deep breath and going through the foster applications and trying to disperse some of these to where it's not as much of a burden on the people that initially took in all the emergency fosters. I do have a couple of dogs here that could use fosters, which would help me out a lot. I have Shadow, who's a fabulous black lab mix. He just needs to be adopted, y'all. He's so sweet. He's a little bit picky with, like, some dogs he does great with, other dogs he's a little bit grumpy with, but like he's a lover. If you want a dog that like just cuddles with you all day, come get Shadow. Pepper is a spicy blue heeler. She will act like she wants to hate you at first, like the first couple of days, and then she'll love you forever. No children for that household just because she's a blue heeler. That's a little bit, they can be a little nippy at first, but once she trusts you, she's amazing. So there's some dogs here that are healthy. I've got Scarlet, little baby Scarlet, with her little wiggly tail. But she has some interest, so that's awesome. Just, again, trying to wait for things to calm down to get some of those dogs moved out. And then, let's see, how's the dog who had its head stuck in the kennel? That's Joy. You guys haven't seen as much about Joy. We named her Joy. That wasn't her name, but we named her Joy. She was on one of the news interviews with Matilda. She was the one that was like on the ramp. You could see there was a picture from above, and she was like a brindle color, and she was just as skinny as Annie. Like, she was just a skeleton. It was like her shoulders and then skeleton and then hips. Horribly emaciated, just terrible. But she's so sweet. She's eating, she's drinking. She drank 5 bowls of water when we first got her. 5. That was the other thing that I think that I wanted to mention was, like, on triage. You think all these dogs and the conditions they're in, you're thinking, my first thought was like, oh man, we're gonna have so much like diarrhea to clean up. Sorry for that, but like, that's the reality of dog rescue, is these dogs, when we get them, have terrible guts and they end up with a lot of diarrhea. We often ask for like, gut probiotics and things like that. None of the dogs had diarrhea, and then it hit me, it's because they were all so dehydrated. They didn't have enough fluids in their body to like do that, to make a bowel movement, to urinate. They didn't have any fluids in their body. None. There was not a water bowl in the entire house or outside. Well, one of them, there was one dog, when I opened the crate, he bolted past me, and I tried to grab him, and he didn't, I just kind of had to follow after him. He was running for his life to a trough that he knew was outside that collected rainwater. And I got there, and he was just drinking as fast as he could. He was desperate. Like, he just bolted. He knew exactly where that water was. He didn't care anything about me. He just wanted to get past me to get to that water. So that was one thing. I mean, the volunteers that showed up at triage, a lot of them were very busy just going around filling up water bowls because they were drinking water as fast as we could fill it up. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Why were some dogs out and put up? Like, what's the logic behind that? Okay, I think that some of the crates were in such bad condition that sometimes they would break out. I think that's why some of them were out. There were some photos that I saw that dogs were out, like the initial photos that I saw that alerted me to it. There were some dogs that were out that when I got there were in crates. There were some crates that had 3 or 4 dogs in one crate. Some had mixed had some that were alive and some that were dead in the same crate. So I think that's why there were a couple that were larger, like a couple that weren't as skinny, and there were so many rats and things around, and they were the bigger dogs. I think they were tall enough to be able to there was food on the property. It just wasn't being given to the dogs. There were a few dogs that were big enough that they think they were able to bust into the food, find it and root it out. And then they ate rats, and I think they also ate other carcasses, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, and then Lauren says, hi, Lauren. Lauren's one of our awesome techs that did amazing. Thank you, Lauren. She said it appears there were some favorites and then definitely had more attention than others. Yes, I will say that's probably the case with Sherry. However, I think this last month when she was in the hospital, I don't think Trey had any favorites except he had one in his bedroom. That was his. I do think that Sherry had favorites. But even still, even still, it was terrible. Kristen said he rotated favorites. Kristen was a neighbor, so she knows. Jamie said they had food and didn't feed them. Yes, they had food. There was food there. Like I said, there was food delivered while we were there while we were there taking the animals out from Walmart. So, she would save dogs from people, and people as a thank you would send her food, send her things. So other people paid for the food. Other people called and paid for food to be picked up places. So if you were somebody who gave a dog to this person, just know that whatever you paid for, whatever, you didn't get your money's worth. Okay? That she was not, neither of them were doing what they should have done at all. Okay. Somebody says, yes, Sonia, my daughter and I were giving baths. They were so thirsty, they were trying to drink the dirty, soapy water. Exactly. So, Sonia, thank you. Her and her daughter, when I walked in and, they were bathing these filthy dogs that were covered in feces and urine and death. They were covered in decay. And yeah, they were trying to drink as fast as they could. Let's see their questions. Says it does seem freaky to have an image asking for justice for a dog when all that was going in her care. Yeah. So if you look at her Facebook page, she's got all these stop animal cruelty posts and they had a family and they were loved kind of posts to give the impression that she cared, because nobody checks on these animals once they're out of their possession. They're just thankful somebody took them. So if you're giving money to an organization, ask for proof that the animals are being taken care of, which that wasn't even an organization. And I know that people are desperate for people to help, but I will happily show you where your money goes. When you send it to us, I will happily show you the condition our animals are living in, the condition that they're the things that they get, the love that they get. I hope you see it in our videos, but don't waste your money on people that are doing this kind of stuff. Sorry if I missed it, but how were you tipped off to this place? Okay, so I kind of started the video with the niece. There was a niece of the female that lived at the house. She, I don't even know, again, I don't even know who she sent the photos to initially, but eventually I saw the photos, and once I saw the photos, I asked where they came from, and I got a phone number to a landlord who lived in Texas, the one person who owns the property. He's not even here locally, so he couldn't check on the property. But he said that they hadn't paid rent in months. But he gave me contact info for the niece who had told him about the situation that was going on in the house. And he said she would have more information. So I contacted her, and then she told me. And like I said, when I originally contacted her, she was like very skeptical that we could get anything done because she'd been trying since August. She has a police report from August documenting her concerns and documenting the condition of the animals since August. So, so she's the one that tipped me off. Again, kudos to her for having the bravery to do that, especially for a family member. It's hard when you have to hold a family member to account, but she did that, and I'm proud of her. Let's see. Other questions. Was she there when y'all got there? Okay, yeah, no, she was in the hospital. The man that was her roommate, that's all I've been told. I don't know the relationship, but I was told that's her roommate. He was there. Like I said, so that night they went to that person's work and they asked for permission. He said no, he wouldn't allow them to go on the property to check on the welfare of the animals. They went to the hospital and asked permission. They said no. She said no, she would not let them check. And then he worked nights. So they ended up getting there first thing in the morning so that when he got home from work, he couldn't go in the house and like try to change anything or try to hide anything. Not that he could have. That place is, there's no way. You can't hide that. But they got there early and caught him before he went inside and then started the whole process. And then once he agreed to surrender the animals, then that's at the time that we entered that's when they called us and said, you can come over and bring your surrender forms. And then we started pulling animals. So, I'm surprised you even had a job. Yeah. So again, animal abusers, child abusers, all these kind of things, they can have jobs. They can semi-function in society. So again, that's all the more reason we need laws. It's not always the super obvious ones, but we need laws that allow law enforcement to have a little bit more power when it comes to at least verifying the welfare. I don't want to violate people's rights and like bust into places, but there's got to be something we can do, Did y'all see the lizards or bearded dragons? The reason I ask is because she talked about having several. No, we did not. I hope. And they wouldn't have made noise. So like if she had a lizard cage somewhere that we didn't see that was in one of those closets or like in the back bedroom, I don't know. Hopefully the police are going to do another search. So hopefully if there is anything else alive there, we'll take it and we'll figure it out. But no, we did not see any lizards. How did they get him to agree to surrender? I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know that part. I'm just glad that they did. Arkansas needs to do better. Absolutely. She did used to have bearded dragons. She confirmed. Okay. I don't know anything about them. And again, they wouldn't have made noise. Oh, now I feel bad that we maybe missed some lizards. I don't like lizards, y'all. I'm sorry. But I would have still saved them. But they don't make noise, so I wouldn't have known. But when a family member is concerned, that should have been just cause. Yeah, and that's and at the time, hi Alex. Alex is the tech that has Annie. Hi Alex. Thank you, Annie. Alex was literally a lifesaver. Thank you, Alex. I lost my train of thought. So, yeah, when a family member is concerned, it should be just cause. That, the police report in August, I'll post it again. I posted it in the comments of the post about Sherry, but at the time that report was made, the niece was living in the home. So this report came from someone who was living in the home at the time. She moved out because she couldn't breathe, which I believe. But she made that report as someone living in the home. So it was substantiated and nothing was done. Because they told her, if I'm understanding correctly, and I think I am, they told her that since she didn't own the property and she was just staying there, that they couldn't go in, which I get. Again, if that is the law, then it needs to change. So, yes, Alex is amazing. So is Lauren. Lauren and Alex and Mia came the next day. And Lacey Bell, oh my gosh. I know I gave her a heart attack invading her clinic. Lacey Bell is amazing, y'all. She is literally an angel on earth. Helps us with everything. She's always behind the scenes. She never gets named. So Lacey Bell, you're amazing. She is a treasure to our community. She is unofficially like my right-hand man. So, oh, Annie is an amazing puppy. Yes, she is. She is awesome. Nothing will change unless we call and call and call. Absolutely. Let's call. Everybody call. Email. Call. If the governor is watching, I would love to talk to you. If lawmakers are watching, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to have a discussion with you about what our struggles are and what we need to do. So, anybody else have, let's see, all these techs, fosters, vet clinics, all of you involved are precious souls. Yes, everybody that showed up, everybody that's fostering is amazing. We need animal rescue reform too. Even people posing as legitimate rescues can be hoarding. Absolutely. Not caring for the animals. Absolutely. So I don't know about how much you guys know about me and this rescue, but this rescue was started in October because there was a major issue with the previous rescue I was helping. I was just helping and I was not okay with it. And I said, it was kind of one of those, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself kind of things. I never wanted to run a rescue. This isn't what I was planning to do. But when I saw what was happening, the fraud that was happening, the animals that were not getting what they needed because someone else was being selfish, I started my own rescue. I will always be transparent. I will show you anywhere the money went. I will show you bills. I will show you whatever. If you just, FOIA us or whatever, or ask us. It may take me a minute because I'm really busy, but I promise, there's not a penny unaccounted for. All of the money goes back to the animals, or to something to help the animals, whether it's, construction, gas money for transport, that kind of thing, all the things that we need. So, but it does not go in our pockets, yeah, Lacey Bell is amazing. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. How is Linda helping? Linda Doherty. She's my vice president. Hi, Linda. Linda's just someone I trust. She's just a good person. She's amazing. She helps with transports, lots of different organizations. The day that this triage happened, or the day that this whole thing happened, she said, "What do you need?" And I said, "I need you to go to my house and take care of all the animals that I have at my house so that I can focus on this." And so that's what she did. Shay Lewis. Who is Ella? That was a pig that is unaccounted for. I support animal abusers to be put to sleep. I have a t-shirt that says that. I don't wear it in public typically, but let's see. Give us a number to call, please. We'll try to put up some contact info of who to call. Let's see. Is Lisa Sutherland Dowd helping you? Yes. She is one of our amazing volunteers. She helps all the time. She doesn't have a board position. She probably should. But she is one of our head volunteers. She helps out with all of our microchip clinics and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. I was disturbed by the previous rescue. So was I. Once I knew what was happening, once I realized what was happening in the previous rescue, that's why this rescue exists, and I am bound and determined to do this, to do everything the right way. I just can't even, I don't understand people that can be that selfish. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm going to really say about that. But maybe some of these reporters can get this to state officials. Lots of reporters have talked to us. I would love that. Keep abusers in the same condition they left the animals in. Yes, I'd love that. Unfortunately, our justice system doesn't work that way, but that'd be great if it did. I agree, especially in a case that is this obvious. I would love to start one in Hot Springs. I don't know where to start. No, you wouldn't. I promise. Rescue is really stressful. What I would suggest is help your established rescues. In Hot Springs, Hank's Rescue, amazing. Liz, hi, and help them. Help them. Like, that's how we make a difference. Don't start your own. It's a lot of work. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have to. Support the established rescues that are reputable. Okay. Off the top of my head, Southern Hearts Rescue, Nova Star Rescue, Throwaway Gang. Hi, Polly. Hank's Rescue. There's others. I'm so sorry if I can't, like, off the top of my head, think of all of you all, but just, you know, Preston Andrew Nolan is a gym in our state. Support him. He has a cheeseburger fund. He needs that. Help him. Reputable rescues in our state save lives every day. Every day. Let's see. Took me all of 5 minutes to send a message to the governor online. Yes. Thank you. Please do that. Jan Morgan. Yes, Jan Morgan has been in touch. We're going to see what we can do together. She's been in touch with kind of just getting information on the she's kind of been in touch about making sure that, like, she can follow up with the charges, making sure charges stick, making sure that this other person hopefully gets charged, that kind of thing. That's what I've kind of been in contact with her about. Hope this goes worldwide. I don't want the attention, but I want the animals' help, so sure. Let's see. Kip Cosson. Hi, Kip. I feel like I know you, even though I don't, like, personally, but you're always so encouraging, and I love all your drawings, so thank you. Let's see. Yes, Jan Morgan. Yep, she's been in touch. What can we do to help the most at this time? Be patient with me. That would help. No, donations, vet care. If you can donate directly, we're using Timber Trails Animal Hospital and Little Woods Animal Hospital. They're owned by the same person. They are amazing. So calling either of those clinics, you can call and put donations directly on our account. That way you know it goes directly to the animals. If you use our donation links, it also goes directly to the animals, but I know some people feel more comfortable, you know, putting it right on the vet account, and that's great too, because if it's on the vet account, then we don't have to pull it out of the bank. So either way, vet bills, because we're vetting these dogs, you know, we triaged, we did the initial things, but I'm sure they're going to have heartworms. They're going to have parasites. They're going to have anemia. They're going to have who knows what. They're going to need special foods. They're going to need high quality foods to overcome the deficits that they've had, the nutritional deficits they've had. So that, sorry, I lost the live feed. That is going to be the biggest need right now is, like, vet funds. And then secondary biggest need would be, like I said, if anybody has a business or knows a business that can help with, like, fencing, roofing, concrete, insulation, that kind of thing, to get our shelter built so that this is going to happen again. I hate to say it, but, like, the next time that there is a triage situation, we can use our own facility. If it had been on a weekday, we could not have used the vet clinic because they run a business. So, like, we need our shelter finished. So that would be another big need. So, let's see. You all got Pink, her rescue baby. Yes. So Pink, like the superstar Pink. If she wants to reach out, that'd be amazing. Her dog, Graham Cracker, I pulled out with my bare hands from under a pile of debris off Billy Goat Mountain in Bologna. It got networked up to the bond between. Well, the mama dog and 5 of the puppies got networked. We adopted a few out down here, but they networked up to the bond between. So shout out to the bond between. Thank you for partnering with us on that. And then Pink randomly fostered Graham Cracker, like randomly stopped in on her tour, fostered Graham Cracker, and like it was like a viral moment for one of our dogs that started out here in Arkansas. So that's amazing. So yeah, if Pink wants to get involved, absolutely. Love it. Would love it. And I'd love to see how Graham Cracker's doing too. Let's see. Yes, shelter finish. Yeah, shelter finish would be amazing. Let's see. Anybody else have any other questions that I didn't answer? My brain's kind of fried. So, basically, thank you. If you have any other questions, I'll try to answer them as we go, but as I can and as I have time. But remember, we have fosters ourselves, and we're coordinating a whole lot. We're also working with law enforcement and all the things. So, yeah, give us a little bit of patience. But I wonder if we send letters to Home Depot, Lowe's, etc., if they would donate to the shelter. That's an idea. Again, I don't have time to do that right now. So if anybody has the ability to like advocate for us and like try to get us some supports, we have our 501c3, we have our all of our financial information available. So if there's a company out there that wants to do that and help us out, we have all of that ready to go. So any other questions? I'm really tired, so I'd really like to go. Actually, I probably need to go take a Scarlet potty. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that was really long. And check Messenger when you can. Okay, great. I can use any food. So, unless it's like super off-brand stuff, but she said I can, let's see, try to get some rest. Yes, I will. I didn't sleep much at all. Did we just show up to help you physically? Okay, great question. Let me answer that one real quick. The rescue is my house. So a few of my like close people that I've worked with for a long time know my address. I take volunteers, but once we have that shelter built, again, I can send people there to do things and we can have a volunteer schedule and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird sometimes to have people come to your house and volunteer because like your life is happening. Like I've got kids and I've got my own dogs and I've got my chickens and it's just a little bit awkward sometimes. So like, now people can take dogs for like doggy day outs, that kind of thing. If I have animals here that need to get out, those sort of things can happen. We ask for help on work days frequently. So like the shelter that we're building, we ask for help for painting, that kind of thing recently. There'll be work days where like, if you can rake or hold a shovel, that kind of thing. Absolutely. So that kind of thing. Yeah, a lot of people, I totally get that. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the rescue's my house. We don't have a building. We do a lot, so they think we have a building. We don't. We're working on it. So let's see. What food do you use the most? Anything that's like, I really like Purina One, but we also, we'll take anything that's not, there's a few brands, I think you guys can guess, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to make anybody mad. There's a few brands that are not as good a quality that whenever we get dogs in that have just yucky guts, we don't want to give them low quality food. So anything that's just like, a decent brand, we will use. I always tell people, ask me that a lot, and I always say like rescue dogs aren't picky because they're real hungry. So, but yeah, just good food. All right, I am going to sign off here and go take Scarlet potty and go do all my nighttime rounds that I do with all my fosters. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let me know if there's anything I didn't answer. Thank you.